ਧਰਤੀ ਪਈ ਹਰਿਆਵਲੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਬੈਠਾ ਆਏ ਸੇ ਜੰਤ ਭੈ ਹਰਿਆਵਲੇ ਜਿਨੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਏ ਹਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮੇਲੋ ਦਇਆ ਕਰ ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਧੋਵੈ ਪਾਏ
There is a light deep within every human being, a power that sustains every soul in the universe. Immersed in the world, one is oblivious to this light. Until we encounter a realized soul, a living spiritual master. Then we get a glimpse of this light and are drawn to its extraordinary presence. This is Dera Baba Jaimal Singh, the home of the Byas Masters, whose presence and grace have transformed this once lonely wilderness into a flourishing township. A township built on love, devotion, and selfless service. Every year, millions of people visit the Dera. What draws them here? What compels them to leave their busy lives in the world to visit this spiritual sanctuary year after year? Each person has their own story to tell. The enigma of love that is experienced under the guiding light of a true master.
I was going back to Byas after many years. I had been so caught up in my own world that I didn't realize how much time had slipped by. But recently, I began to feel empty inside. A feeling I can't explain. I have everything anyone could ask for. A loving family, a good job, a comfortable home. But I was longing for more meaning in my life. And I missed my master, Hazur, more than ever. I felt it was time to go back to the Dera to reconnect with my real self. Byas Station. I couldn't believe I was really here. It looked so different from how I remembered it. The moment I got off the train, I was greeted by the welcoming faces of the Dera Sevadars, volunteers who work in the service of the Master. They were ever ready to extend a helping hand. It was comforting to see that some things hadn't changed at all. The Sevadars took me to one of the Dera buses that were arriving every few minutes. The bus was filled with people from all over India and abroad. There was a feeling of great anticipation in the air. Everyone was coming here for only one purpose: to be in the loving presence of a master. The short bus ride took me back to the days when I used to come here as a child with my parents sitting in a tonga, traveling along the 5-kilometer road to the Dera.
अमरपुर ले चल हो सजना अमरपुर ले चल हो सजना अमरपुर की संकरी गलियां अड़बड़ है चलना संत समाज सभा जहाँ बैठी वही पुरुष अपना अमरपुर ले चल हो सजना.
As we entered the gates, I met with my brother, who is a Sevadar living here. After settling in, he took a few of us around the colony.
The Dera is named after its founder, Baba Jaimal Singh, who was the first of the Beas spiritual masters. Unfortunately, no photographs of Baba Jaimal Singh exist. In the year 1891, Baba Jaimal Singh settled here along the banks of the river Beas. He came here to carry out the work of his master, Swamiji Maharaj, who had asked him to spread the Sant Mat teachings in Punjab. In those days, this area was a deserted wasteland. In fact, many people thought it was haunted, but Baba Jaimal Singh was attracted to the quiet surroundings. He made a home for himself in a small cave where he sat in meditation for days at a time. Eventually, this place came to be known as the Dera, meaning dwelling or settlement. His disciples tried to persuade him to look for a better area, but he told them that this very place would one day become a major center of spiritual activity. Today, 120 years later, the truth of his words stretches out before us.
The beauty of the Dera had always remained in my mind, but I had forgotten how transporting it was to be here. It felt like a different realm, far away from my worldly life. I was deeply moved by a sense of peace. I felt connected to everyone, like I was with family. It was like returning home after years of lonely separation. I realized what a void this absence had created in my heart. It inspired me to make the very most of the few precious days I had here.
Every morning at 3 o'clock, a siren resounds throughout the Dera, calling the disciples to wake up for their morning meditation and begin a day devoted to spiritual life. From the very beginning, life at the Dera has been centered around meditation, satsang, and seva, that is, selfless service. The Dera is a reflection of both the teachings of the masters and the seekers' enduring pursuit of spirituality. One of the Byas masters, Maharaj Charan Singh, often said, Dera Baba Jaimal Singh has grown to what it is today out of the seeds of the master's love.
If you see a seed of a banyan tree, it takes it time to grow to become a banyan tree. And 1,000 people then sit under the shade to enjoy that spirituality. Swamiji has come and he has sown that seed. And it is just growing and growing and growing. And we are enjoying the shade, that's all.
The history of the Dera is the life story of great saints who have dedicated their lives to nurturing sincere seekers on the path to God realization. They teach us that the purpose of life is to realize God. To achieve this, the masters teach a simple technique of meditation to connect one's consciousness to the spirit, the word or the shabd found within the human body.
Christ ने क्या सी, if thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. अगर तुसी एक अख वाले बन जावो, थोड़ा सारा जिस्म नूर और प्रकाश के नाल भर जाएगा. तो असी अपने अंदरों उस शब्द या नाम दी आवाज नू सुनना है, उस शब्द और नाम दे प्रकाश नू देखना है. आवाज के जरिए अंदरों घर का रुख कायम करना है, प्रकाश के जरिए रूहानी सफलता करना है, मंजिल दर मंजिल अपने घर चले जाना है. अगर साड़ी आत्मा अखा पिछे आके उस शब्द का चोगा चुगना शुरू कर देवे, उस अमृत नू अपने अंदरों पीना शुरू कर देवे, ये हमेशा वास्ते दे दिया बंधना तो आजाद हो जाएगी.
To talk about the development of the Dera is easy, but it is impossible to describe the glory of the masters who have brought it into being. They are the heart and soul of the Dera, and without them, nothing here would have any meaning. In 1903, Baba Jaimal Singh passed away. He appointed as his successor Maharaj Savan Singh, an engineer in the Indian Army. Baba Jaimal Singh once said, "My successor will have greater power than I. I have lived in this world keeping myself concealed. He will reveal himself in all his glory." His power and spiritual splendor will be much more than mine. Through him, hundreds of thousands of souls will attain salvation, and every village and city will resound with the greeting, Radha Swami. When Maharaj Savan Singh became the master, the only structures that existed here were the well, a small room for the master, 2 satsang halls, and a small building known as Babaji ki Kothriyan to accommodate visitors. These simple structures became the foundation of present-day Dera. At that time, the surrounding area consisted of barren land. Maharaj Charan Singh spoke of the early days of how these small developments came about during Baba Jaimal Singh's time.
You may have read somewhere when Maharaji came here for the first time, because he was in the service, in military services. And he said there used to be no charpai and no bed at all. So they had straw mats. So they will just pull straw mat and under some tree they will just sleep in summer months. And then there used to be no water here because there was no well. And in the morning he saw Bibi, who was in the service of Babaji Maharaj, bringing water for Babaji from somewhere, see, with a pitcher on her head. So Maharaji was absolutely new to the place. He didn't know anything about this place at all. Then he asked Bibi, from where do you bring it? She said, I bring from this village. And village is little quite far, you see this. Now our colony is spread so much, so it looks very near. But then when the all jungle and bushes, so it used to be practically to feel quite at a distance. Maharaji said, I very hesitatingly, a lot of thinking, then I requested Babaji Maharaj, if you permit me, I would like to dig a well here so that Bibi doesn't have to go all the way to the village for the water. And so many people come, they'll make use of it. Babaji said, today I am here, tomorrow I may be somewhere else. And I don't want to bind myself to this particular place. So why dig a well? I have a straw hut and I can build anywhere if I go anywhere else. Then Maharajji said, I don't want to bind you at all to this place. Once you drink the water of that well and you can leave this place when you want. I don't want to bind you to the place. Then Maharajji said, Babaji just smiled. He said, all right, I won't bind myself to this place, but you'll be bound to this place. But anyway, well was dug. But he said, I never realized that it has a very deep-rooted meaning behind what Babaji is saying. Then after him, you see, then he realized what all it means. So slowly and slowly this whole colony is springing up, you see. And now you can see what has come, how the flower blooms.
Maharaj Sawan Singh, affectionately known as the Great Master, travelled from town to town, village to village, carrying the message of the saints. Because of his inspiring and simple discourses, his dynamic and loving personality, Sant began to take root and grow, both across India and abroad. As a result, more and more seekers came to the Dera to listen to his teachings. As the Sangat grew, more facilities and buildings were built. The Great Master, whom we could call the first architect of the Dera, designed and supervised the construction of most of these buildings. He stood for countless hours, directing the engineers and masons, giving his personal attention to the smallest details. The Satsanghar stands as a testament to his engineering skill.
Every time I see this building, it's hard to believe that it was built in just 3 years. I read in the books that a highly regarded contractor and associate of the Great Master had offered to build the entire Satsanghar for free. But the Great Master kindly declined. He wanted every one of his Sevadars to have a chance to take part in its construction. Their smallest effort was precious to him. And sure enough, that is how it was built.
That legacy continues till today. This colony has been built brick by brick by the selfless dedication of the masters and their Sangat. The stream of love that flows through them as seva is the lifeblood that has built the Dera.
We met some people who spoke about their unforgettable days with the great master.
I was born in 1926. The foundation of the Satsang Ghar was laid in 1934. It was the great master who took on his head the first mitti ki tokri, and it was an occasion. After that, we used to go every day for seva to the Satsang Ghar. After satsang, the great master would come every day to supervise the work. We were very, very eager that he see us doing seva. And when he was not there, the sevadar, because we were little children, he would give us just one brick. But when we saw the master coming, we would request him, please give me 2 bricks, so that at least he sees me doing good seva. And it so happened, on one day, he passed by and he saw me. And he said, Kako, tu bhi seva kar rahi? Oh, my day was made. And after that, you know what it means. I would go, I would request him to give me that, and we did seva every day till the satsang ghar was complete.
The great master was deeply moved by the dedication of his sevadars. He told them, I have no words to express my gratitude and happiness. I am full of many failings and shortcomings. The growth of satsang and the sangat is not because of any ability or power in me. It is the achievement of that great saint, Baba Jaimal Singh Maharaj, who spent all his life in meditation. All this development is the greatness of that saint. It is the fruit of his meditation. Babaji is doing everything. I am only his slave, and I am grateful to him for appointing me as a humble servant of the Sangat. These words of profound humility reveal just a glimpse of the great master's sublime nature. One of his disciples, Dr. Julian Johnson, attempted to describe the great master in the following words. And how I wish I could really describe him to you. But did you ever try to describe a beautiful sunset? No king could be more graceful and dignified. And yet that dignity is so tempered with sweet humility that one is drawn to him. His voice is low and clear as silver bells. His smile is extremely gracious, and one can see that his heart holds only loving kindness for all. He is to be seen and not described. Since seeing him, I can think of nothing else. His image lingers before me all the while. I have never seen such a face before, nor imagined there was one like it among the sons of men. If ever there was a face combining old age with beauty, majesty and calm power, it is his. But beyond all of that, there is a sort of spiritual radiance which no words can describe, but which gives one a feeling of deep peace, as if the discords of earth were no longer possible in his presence. As you look into his face, you lose all desire to talk, even ask questions. You simply absorb the light. His voice is vibrant with love, and his smile seems as if it lights up the room.
Now, I must tell you my first impression, because I didn't know much about Sant Mat. My first impression when he came out of this car, he was shining, he was radiant. And funnily enough, what I thought was, oh my God. And then he walked very stately up the stairs, and everybody bowed to him. I was feeling a little hesitant, and then he looked at me. And although he was tired, he straight away asked Bibi Lajo to bring us in, and he talked to us. The next morning I heard my first satsang. I had many doubts, and I'd written them all down. And the master did ask me that if there was anything I'd like to ask, and I couldn't think of anything. But at the satsang, he answered all my questions. All my doubts were cleared. Oh, his satsangs were very long, and he told beautiful stories, which we all enjoyed, and he laughed. His laugh was beautiful. He used to shake with laughter and tell our stories. And we used to sit quite close to the stage. I have something to say about the great master, that he wrote beautiful letters to me. And in the last letter, which was in 47, a year before, or a few months before, he wrote that मैं तुम्हारी संभाल कर रहा हूँ और करूँगा. I am looking after you, and I will continue looking after you. And Babaji's fulfilled that. He's looking after me in my old age. And I'm very grateful to him for everything that I'm getting.
The great master was renowned for his kindness and compassion. If someone confessed their failings to him, he forgave them. Then he lovingly advised them to attend to their meditation with love and devotion and not repeat their mistakes. He was well aware of the shortcomings of his disciples, but never spoke of their weaknesses, even indirectly. He never hurt anyone's feelings. He used to say, "Saints never look at our failings. If they did, who would come to them?" Like all great saints, he only saw their souls. He would say, "Every soul is virtuous. Our eyes and hearts are at fault if we fail to see a person's worth, for God Himself sits in every human heart." The great master's satsangs would generally last 2 hours or more and would often be held twice a day, in the morning and late afternoon. His satsangs were often interactive and at times became question and answer sessions. Sometimes someone would recite a verse from the holy books and the great master would give an explanation to the Sangat. At other times, a disciple would recite a poem written for the great master, and he would lovingly listen. The great master's daily schedule of satsang, overseeing the development of the dera, supervising seva activities, and dealing with administration matters were only some of the duties that took up his day. He had extraordinary willpower and a great capacity for work. His personal comfort, convenience, and health were always secondary to him. He seemed oblivious to physical hardship while carrying out his duties. Nothing could keep him from serving the Lord. During his mastership, the Dera expanded considerably as more properties were acquired to accommodate the rapidly growing Sangat. Although the great master was the legal owner of all Dera assets, he never used them for himself or his family. Looking upon himself as merely a guardian of these resources, he worked hard to develop them for the benefit of his Sangat. The great master led a very simple life. He barely ate food and he hardly slept. His disciples were always concerned about his health, but he would assure them, saying, "Not to worry. The nectar of Naam will not let the body become weak. Naam sustains the entire creation. It is not difficult for Naam to sustain the human body, provided one is fully attuned to it."
सतगुर है रंगरेज चुनर मेरी रंगदारी सतगुर है रंगरेज चुनर मेरी रंगदारी स्याही रंग छड़ाए के रे देओ में जीठा रंग तो ऐसे छूटे नहीं रे दिन दिन होते सुरंग सतगुर है रंगरेज चुनर मेरी रंगदारी पाव के कुंड नह के जल में प्रेम रंग दई बोर जस की चास लगाए के रे खूब रंगी चक चोर सतगुर है रंगरेज चुनर मेरी रंगदारी सतगुरु ने चुनरी रंगी रे, सतगुरु चतुर सुजान, सब कुछ उन पर वार दूरे, तन मन तन और प्राण सतगुरु है रंग रेज, चुनर मेरी रंगदारी, कह कबीर रंग रेज गुरु रे, मुझ पर हुए दयाल, शीतल चुनरी और केरे, पई हूँ मगन निहाल, सतगुरु है रंग रेज, चुनर मेरी रंगदारी, सतगुरु है रंग रेज, चुनर मेरी रंगदारी।
In a reminiscent mood, Huzur Maharaj Ji spoke about the great master's unending schedule.
All what I talk, what I hear is nothing but the great master. Every particle of this place smells of him. He gives us that fragrance of his love and devotion, what he has done in this colony.
Yes, he was much more busy than I am, I must tell you. In the morning he would go out, see all the fields, work going on, and with every department he would be in touch. And then he would sit in the office, he would attend to his whole mail right in the office. Professor Bhatnagar's father was there, in charge of the office correspondence. And then people would be coming, and whole day it would be interviewed till 1:30, 2. We really would go and remind him so many times for lunch, because we won't be served meals unless he is served. Then in the evening he used to hold satsang. And sometime in the morning he would go and sit in the seva. And then so much dera was developing, you see, in a very developing stage. And so many meetings with engineers, and the meetings will go on till 12 at night, 1 at night. So it went on. I mean, he was a very busy person, a very busy person. And he had very long tours also. But he won't fix any time. He would say, all right, I'll come on a tour for 10 days. And then if one place he's holding satsang, those people are anxious for him to extend his stay, he would stay another 1 day, 2 days. And then he will go to another city, another city. So it was a tour for 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. But no particular timing was fixed, you see, beforehand. He traveled a lot. So he was mostly traveling to Lahore and Mint, Mumbai, Multan side, Karachi side, and then Rawalpindi, Peshawar side, Ahmedabad side. That was his main field of satsang. And then he devoted also a lot of time to Sarsa, his farm. And he would go for 2 months, 1 month. He would stay there and look after the children and the farm and their progress and everything. He would give full attention to the farm and everything. He was very busy. I don't think anybody can work harder than him. His one leg was little short of the other leg, but he had no problem in walking because we could never keep pace with him. Never. I know he used to go to the hills, and I had sometimes the opportunity to follow him with his stick or umbrella. But we could never keep pace with him. He was walking so fast, and it was very difficult for anybody to keep pace with him. He was so fast. Even at that age, you see, when he was 87, 88, 90.
Actually, Great Master has labored a lot to spread Santma's teaching. You just visit those centers which he has created for the spreading of the teaching. You will simply be amazed how can we reach to these places. I go to this in Himachal Pradesh, now it is known. Very rough roads, now they are roads. At that time there were no roads. Sometimes he will be on a pony, sometimes he will be walking. With his staff you see at his back, luggage on their head. And no place to stay, no rest houses, no sanitary convenience you see. And just a nightfall, this small hut comes and probably the man is staying up and the shop is down and that will be vacated for him. Maharaj Ji never, you see, said a single word that he is uncomfortable. And this is how he has spread his teachings. Nobody can reach those places. You see, now after 2 years or 3 years, I am just in my comfortable car, I can hardly reach there. After 2-3 years, I get a chance to visit such places. The centers which he has made, beautiful centers. And they are all simple people full with love and devotion. And that is all the seed which he has sown. But slowly and slowly Maharaj Ji just penetrated into their heart. And now whole hills you see are singing his praises. That is the seed you see which has sown, which is springing up now.
The great master's tours were rigorous and the weather often extreme. On one occasion, in a single day and a half, he travelled over 350 kilometers by car, visited 6 different towns and gave 3 satsangs, one which was unscheduled and 2 hours long, and also attended a wedding. When the great master thanked the driver who had been with him since his second stop, the driver said, "Sir, please remember me again. Though I am only 30 years old, I am utterly exhausted from trying to keep up with you. You did not eat or sleep, yet you do not seem tired. You are not a human being." At that time, the great master was over 80 years old. Dr. Julian Johnson wrote these words about the great master's tours and his activities. The dear master shows the effect of prolonged strain, continuous hard work with almost no time for rest, day and night. We begged him to consider his health. He smiled and made only a partial promise. When we told him that there would be plenty of work to be done here 1,000 years from now, he laughed and said, "Yes, no doubt." Once, when Great Master was not well, his disciples begged him to rest at home and not go to satsang. He replied, "The more this body is utilized in seva, the better. After all, it will be consigned to flames one day." At satsang, his face was so radiant and his voice so powerful that no one ever suspected he was not well.
शिष्य का माना सतगुरु, गुर झिड़के लख बार, सहजो द्वार ना छोड़िए, यही धार ना धार। गुर दर्शन कर सहज गुर का कीजै ध्यान, गुर की सेवा कीजिए, तजिए कुल अभिमान। गुर सो कछु ना दुराये, गुर स्यों झूठ ना बोले, बुरी भली खोटी खरी, गुर आगे सब खोल। सहजो गुर रक्षा करें, मिटें सब दुख दुंद, मन की जाने सब गुर, कहाँ छिपावे अंध। सहजो गुर कृपा करी, कहा कहूँ मैं खोल, रोम रोम फुलत भई, मुखे नया वे बोल।
Two weeks before the great master passed away, he called in Sardar Bahadur Jagat Singh, the retired vice principal of an agricultural college, and told him that he would be the successor. Sardar Bahadurji said to his beloved master, "This emperor's throne befits only an emperor. May you live with us forever. I am only a slave." The great master lovingly gazed at him and told him that these were the commands from above. Sardar Bahadurji, with tears in his eyes, could only bow his head in submission. On the 2nd of April, 1948, after 45 years of service to the Sangat, the great master left this world at the age of 90. From his early years, Sardar Bahadur Jagat Singh was infused with a rare honesty, purity and humility. And because of this, even in college, his friends addressed him as Guruji. During Sardar Bahadurji's nearly 20 years of service at an agricultural college, written reviews were full of admiration for him. The director of agriculture remarked, "No praise of him could be too high. This grand old man of the college carries great weight with the students and with whom he comes in contact." As a disciple, Sardar Bahadur Jagat Singh was deeply devoted to meditation and seva. He was a perfect example of how a true disciple should live his life. Whenever he was with the great master, he would sit quietly in a corner and absorb his master's presence. Not once did he ask him a question and never initiated a conversation with him. Sardar Bahadurji faced an immense task when he became the master. The Sangat was overwhelmed with grief after the passing away of the great master. People couldn't bear to return to the Dera. Some sections of the Sangat even broke away. Confusion and doubt filled the hearts of many. Maharaj Charan Singh once related his own experience.
I remember when he became master, actually you see, it's very difficult for the satsangis to come to the era after the death of the master, because we are so attached to the great master, and this whole place had so much association
with the great master, each and every building, every place, where we used to play with him, hear his song and all that. So to come to the colony without him is something very hard for any disciple, you see. So naturally, I was also feeling very depressed after the death of the great master. And I didn't come to Vyas for about 6-7 months. And Sardar Bahadur went to Satsang. And he asked me that he didn't come to Vyas. I couldn't say anything. Not that we didn't respect him, I loved him. And I had tears in my eyes. I said, I can't stand that place of the great master. He said, you are fortunate, you can afford not to come, but I can't escape from that place. I even can't bear it without him, that place, but I can't even leave that place. So next day I came along with him there.
Within a short time, Sardar Bahadur Ji's compassion, dedication to serve, and inspiring satsangs drew the Sangat back to the Dera.
Once when I was here at the Dera, Sardar Bahadur Ji was sitting in his office. In those days there was a long veranda near the great master's house, and I was standing, not visible to him physically, somewhere near the Nichiko buildings. And I'm feeling very sorry for myself, lonesome. I was not mature enough to accept anyone in his place. And he called me Villaggio and he said, go there, you'll find Kamal standing there. And you go and ask her how she is, otherwise she'll feel that the great master is not here, no one's looking after her. It was, like a shock, because that was what I was thinking.
Although he was not well during the 3 years that he was master, Sardar Bahadur Ji labored tirelessly to serve the Lord. On the 23rd of October, 1951, at the age of 67, he passed away. In his will, he appointed Maharaj Charan Singh as his successor. At the age of 35, Maharaj Charan Singh humbly accepted the responsibility of becoming the next spiritual guide in the line of the Vyas masters. In his inaugural speech, he requested everyone to look upon him as their younger brother and to help him serve the Sangat. He said, I do not consider myself worthy of putting on the turban of such great saints, but compelled by the Sangat's love and faith in Huzur Maharaj Ji, I have submitted myself to the Sangat. Using his experience as a lawyer, one of the most important changes that Maharaj Charan Singh put into place was the registration of a charitable trust society. After that, all the Dera funds and assets were held by this trust. Maharaj Charan Singh, who later became affectionately known as Huzur Maharaj Ji, kept the torch of spirituality burning brightly. Without concern for his own comfort, he selflessly spread the message of love and liberation day after day, year after year, without ceasing. As a result of his extensive travels, his enlightening discourses, and his personal charisma, the teachings spread to almost every part of India and around the world.
पाग बड़े जो संत पधारे, संत पधारे, संत पधारे, संत पधारे, संत पधारे, पाग बड़े जो संत पधारे, कर सिमरन पव सागर तारे, कर सिमरन पव सागर तारे, संत पधारे, पाग बड़े जो संत पधारे, एहे संत है पर उपकारी, शरण आए वाकुलित उबारी, शरण आए वाकुलित उबारी, संत पधारे, संत पधारे, संत पधारे, पाग बड़े जो संत पधारे, कह कबीर संत भले पधारे, जन्म जन्म के कारज सारे, जन्म जन्म के कारज सारे, संत पधारे, पाग बड़े जो संत पधारे, पाग बड़े जो संत पधारे।
Under Huzur's guiding hand, the Dera developed rapidly over the next 40 years. From simple sheds, hostels, residential blocks, public toilet facilities were built to accommodate the growing Sangat. Roads, drainage, power and communications were introduced, and all this became the template for future growth.
Being back at the satsang grounds, I noticed that the Shamiana tents had been replaced with a steel structure. We were informed that satsangs still take place here when the Sangat is smaller. My mind was flooded with memories of Huzur. The joy of sitting in his satsangs, being lost in his words, his face, his smile, his soothing presence, it all came back to me.
I said, wherever you collect in my name, I'll be there. Master is always here at the eye center and every disciple. When you hold your attention here and do Simran, you are with your Master. Meditation is simple.
We just attend to it every day.
It's not in our hands how to adjust our karmas. It is in His hands. He knows best how to make us go through those karmas. You see, it's a lifelong struggle. We have not only to continue, but we have to continue for whole of our life in meditation. Master is never harsh to the disciple. Mother and father are never harsh to the child. They are always loving. There is love behind that punishment. Nobody can love the child more than father and mother.
And those who couldn't come, they are as dear and near to me as all of you sitting here. And you can give them my regard and love. Everyone is very dear and near to me.
If you read the Bible, in the last probably chapter, Christ says, "It is expedient for me to leave you now." How can it be expedient for the disciple that his master should leave them, leave the body? He said, "No. Now you are so much attracted by my physical presence that you're always surrounding me. When you won't find me outside, then you will try to search me within. You will convert all this emotion and love which you have for me to meditation. And I have given you the way, I have given you the truth, which will bring you back to my level within, to my spiritual body within." So this emotion which we have within ourselves, this helps us to grow to His level, to be Him, to become Him. And ultimately practice will lead us to the real Master within, the radiant form of the Master. And that is real love, where there is no separation.
I asked Mr. Sethi from the administrative committee about the Dera at the time of Huzur's passing.
Have you ever seen a fish out of water? Can you imagine a pain experienced by a lover who has lost his or her beloved? These are nothing as compared to the physical separation of one's spiritual master, especially whose eyes were showering ever-growing grace, whose one glimpse satisfied the thirst of many eager and anxious eyes.
I will never forget that day, the 1st of June 1990, when Huzur Maharaj Ji left this physical world. No disciple should ever lose his master. 2 days before he left us, Huzur Maharaj Ji dictated his will, appointing Baba Gurinder Singh as his successor. At the age of 35, with a professional background in commerce, he became the new master. At the Dastarbandi inauguration ceremony, we saw the present master for the first time. He was consoling us and carrying all the burden of grief on his shoulders. Who Who can explain the feeling of being lost and found at the same moment? Addressing the Sangat, the new master said that he did not consider himself worthy of the seva assigned to him, and that for him, he was just a particle of dust at the feet of the Sangat. With such humility, he told them that without the grace of Huzur Maharaj Ji, he would not be capable of doing anything.